Sweet Mask came over to my apartment where he said, I am sorry about your father, he pretty much failed the written test, but I didn't know he was your father until I saw his files and personal information, and I said yes, he's my biological father and Mizuki is my mom. I grew up fast. Sweet Mask, it's my genes and my powers, it allows me to do things no human being is capable of. And he said, I know master, I'm sorry Master Lionheart for this terrible inconvenience, and he said maybe I can resolve this dilemma with the Hero Association, and I said wait, don't tell them anything, allow my father to earn it in battle if he must, and he said understood Master Lionheart, and I said good, and you don't have to call me master, you can call me Leo if you desire to. And Sweet Mask said I'd rather call you Master Lionheart sire, and I said you know Sweet Mask, you don't have to continue hiding your true face just because you believe people will think you are an ugly monster. I have also revealed my true form, but that doesn't mean I'm a monster because I'm not a monster, and neither are you my friend. And then Sweet Mask cried and said master, you honor me, and I said I honor the entire world with my presence boy, and my work has only just begun. And then I said Genos is a great hero, and then I heard Dad giving Genos a speech about becoming mentally strong, and I said don't listen to him, he doesn't know what he's talking about, you need invincible cybernetic body Genos, that's all you need, and you can stand on an equal playing field with me and Dad. And then I said I am going to do you a favor right now, and I gave Genos a invincible first divine metal body made of nanites, and I even made him look human again, and I said now you truly have all the strength and powers you will ever need, and I even gave you the ability to have sex with women again, so enjoy, no need to thank me. And then Genos cried and he said thank you Master Lionheart, and I said you're welcome, don't waste the tools I have given you. Use them for good Genos always. And he said I will master, do not fail yourself. And then he bowed and I said you have a lot to learn father, and he said okay, I don't know anything about being a teacher, and I said maybe I can be of assistance, I am a genius after all, and I scored the highest on the Hero Association test. And Dad said you don't need to rub it in, and I said oh yes, I'm going to rub it in the wound like salt. Didn't you graduate high school father? And he said of course I did, but that was a long time ago. And I stared at him with a deadpan expression and I said really? And Fubuki and Tatsumaki laughed at my father, and Saitama said I'm not stupid, I just haven't been to high school in a long time, that's all. And I said sure, whatever you say Dad, and I said come on girls, let's go back to my apartment. And then we went back to my bedroom where I had sex with Fubuki and Tatsumaki at the same time, and I decided to make love to them in every sexual position. So I started from the doggy style position, and then I came in Fubuki's vagina after 2 hours, and then she rode my member ravenously in the cowgirl position, and then Tatsumaki did the same thing and she rode my member ravenously in the cowgirl position, and then I came inside Tatsumaki's vagina many times, and they would both often suck my member ravenously, and I came in their mouths about 10 times, and they both always swallowed my sweet white juice. I would often have sex with them both in the big dripper doggy style position, in the missionary position, in the reverse cowgirl, and the spooning sex position, which is one of my favorite positions during sex aside from my number one favorite, the big dripper doggy style sex position. And I even got them both pregnant, and they demanded to name the babies, so I allowed it some kind of weird Asian names I can't pronounce, and I don't care to either. In all we now had 5 kids, and they were all named Young, Li, Yao, Eng, Chao, and I ended up marrying the 2 psychic sisters. And in this world, if you have a great social status, you can be in a polygamous marriage with many women if you desire, and since I am the number 1 S rank hero, I can do whatever I want when I get married, but I don't do anything bad to my women. I don't abuse my lovers, I'm a gentleman. I just make love to them, and I always tried my best to sexually satisfy them like I always tried my best to do in my previous life. I always loved having sex with women in my previous life because it was always the purest way I could express to a woman how much I truly loved them through actions. In my opinion, the purest expression of love should always be in your actions but also in your words, but words fail us sometimes, so I prefer actions anyway. Pretty soon the House of Evolution showed up at our front doorstep literally by confronting me and my father. So Armored Gorilla, Beast King, Kamakuri, Ground Dragon, Frogman, Sluggerus, and this time Dad didn't hurt Mosquito Girl, and this time I decided to make her one of my wives.